How you doing, guys? We're back. Another review. This time we have a blended Scotch. This is a different kind of blended Scotch, though. This is what is known as a vatted malt. So this is basically a blend of single malts rather than a blend of single malts and grain whiskeys. And this is from the Douglas Laing's distillery. This is rock oyster. Now, I don't know exactly if they age anything on their premises or not, but I do know they basically search out all Scotland and they grab up all the malts they can, and they do blend them, and they do release them, and so they've got pretty much every region covered. This is sort of island region kind of thing. The island region, of course, isn't necessarily recognized as an official region of Scotland by the Scottish Whisky Association, but most people sort of grant it its own unique sort of place because it does have its own unique sort of taste, doesn't it? So this has malts from Orkney, Arran, Jura, and Islay. Most prominently, there might be even some other stuff in there. And this is non-chill filtered and sits at 46.8% alcohol by volume, so you're getting yourself an awesome blend here right off the bat. You're not watering it down too much. It's cask strength at least. And yeah, I keep wanting to call this rock lobster, of course, for obvious reasons, I think, but for other obvious reasons, there's no way they could ever call it that without having the B-52s sue them. So there you go. I got this at my local NSLC. Usually we don't carry this. There's a couple other things that showed up as well. Basically just they're trying to move old stock out of the bigger stores, so some of it filters down to ours, and I got this sort of on a bit of a clearance for like $56 or something like that. I tried to look up the actual price for this stuff, but wasn't listed on the NSLC site as far as I could tell. So camera says it's dying. I don't know if it's just because it's old and unreliable or what, but I'll try to get through this review before it shuts off. So you can see it's pretty tan pale. No caramel coloring going on here. It's just all from the casks that the different malts. I wish I knew the percentage of what is what in this, but I do have my suspicions. As you can see, I've had quite a bit of it, so I do have my suspicions. So there we go. Looks nice. Legs aren't necessarily super viscous or anything like that. And we'll go right to the aroma. Yeah. So good sort of maritime character there, a lot of sort of brininess, not a massive peat sort of wallop of any sort, not massively smoky. It's all very underneath and kind of subtle, well blended together. There's definitely a nice little honey component there, maybe a little bit of green fruit as well, sort of in the nose. It's very simple but very well put together. Smells very good. And as I was saying, my suspicions on what malts are bigger in this, I'm immediately thinking Jura, just by the smell. It reminds me more of Jura than it does, say, like a Lefroy or something along those lines. So go to the taste. Cheers. So there's a nice balancing sort of honey component here from the malt, but there's this nice little intense underlying smokiness and chili kind of heat, peppery kind of component to it. A little bit of smokiness coming out, a little bit of the wood, not a lot, but it tastes like something that was in the cask for like 16 years. Like, of course, there's no age statement on this, but just the way it's so blended well together, it feels like a whiskey that could have been in a cask for about that long. Just the way everything sort of smoothed out into this sort of really well done, pieced together sort of creation here. It's got a good medium body to it, approaching upper, sort of more of a heavy body. Yeah, it's got that sort of honeyed character, a little bit of some sort of green fruitiness there. I don't dare try to hit on what it is. It's almost wine-like. They have other expressions of rock oyster, by the way. I've seen like one that they actually call cask strength, which is, I think, way bigger. They have a couple actual just straight up single malts too. I know they have an 18-year-old floating around somewhere. And Douglas Laing, like I said, they put out all kinds of other sort of regional specific kind of blends. They have one that's called, I think, Big Pete, which is pretty well regarded as just like more on the Laphroaig side of things. It's one of those just massive, smack you in the face, fucking brutal barbarian malts. Yeah, so it's not super complex. It's all very well put together and calculated. You have to, when I'm doing reviews, I have to bring personal enjoyment in as a factoring for the score, of course. So I really do like this, but this tastes like kind of maybe a lesser Jura to a certain extent. Thinking like the Superstition or whatever was the one I did recently, where the peat and the smoke is a little bit more restrained, a little bit more refined, whereas I'm always looking for that Laphroaig or Ardbeg kind of medicinal smack you in the face kind of thing, and this doesn't really have that. There's a little bit of medicinal quality, but it's mostly just kind of bonfire, seaside, maritime, briny kind of stuff, which is perfectly great in weather like this, especially. Like, look at this shit. We bargain it, huh? Dog's having a great time. I think this is the first significant snow we've really had, so the dog's right into it. So yeah, taking all that into account, for a score, I'm going to sit it firmly at a B+. It's incredibly enjoyable. Your opinion might vary on this. At any rate, fucking, you're probably going to enjoy it. Let's just put it that way. If you're looking for something from the island region, and you like the island region, you like Isla, you like that maritime character and stuff, this has a lot of that in spades. It's just not a big peat monster, so don't go expecting that. So, you know, your score might vary. This might be an A+ for you. I could easily concede that score if someone had it, because, I mean, it's a beautifully put together whiskey, but again, when I'm doing my scores, I have to bring my personal enjoyment into it. I can't just be super objective about it. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. So we're going to go B+ for Rock Oyster from Douglas Laing. And that is worth seeking out if you can find it, guys. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Goodbye.